Hey everyone, Lauren here again, and we're going to do a cut file layout. So I got this beautiful cut file that Anita's made for the subscribers, and I've cut it out with some black cardstock because I'm really liking the way that the black cut files look, especially for some boy layouts. So I'm going to make this one here, and I've got a photo of my son and his friend patting a bearded dragon. Was it a bearded dragon? Frilled neck lizard, sorry, I'm pretty sure. And at the Crumb Century when we went up to the Gold Coast last year. So anyway, I decided I'd use this lovely mixed media paper, and then I'm going to show you how I back the cut file, just because it was a pretty easy cut file to back. So I thought it might be nice to just show you guys if it's something that you're interested in knowing. And I'm no expert, but it's just the way I do it. So hopefully it's of interest and hopefully it's helpful. So taking forever to decide on colours and paper, that's just a given, right? Because there's especially because it's the second layout I did, so there is so much pattern paper, and I don't know if I used any pattern paper. I used a bit of cut file and cut apart of me. Anyway, so I'm just using some glue and I'm just going around the little edges. I'm going to do his tummy first, because that's going to be a different colour than the rest of his body. So I've just stuck that on there, and I'm just cutting it roughly so that I can then cut it a bit neater. You must make sure, sorry, I'm out of the line of the video. You have to be careful as you're cutting not to cut the cut file pieces. So just take your time and ensure that you're cutting it in the right spot, that you're cutting the backing paper, not the cut file paper. So you can see here, just going behind it, and I'm just angling it so that it's not in the way of the scissors. And there's his tummy, and then I'm going to add the rest of his body is going to be this purple, green and pink geometric pattern. So on with a bit of glue. You do not need very much at all. You can see that the cut file is quite thin. It just needs a little tiny bit of glue everywhere, and that way it'll be able to stick to the paper. This glue is Tombow Mono glue actually, and it works really well, and it has got a really fine, not a really fine, but fine enough, especially for cut files. So I'm just going to push it down there, just using my whole hand to push it so that any glue comes out. I'm going to be able to pick it up, and then I'm going to glue on his eye. So make sure when you're cutting the cut file and you're pulling it off your sheet, whatever that's called, that you keep any of those little pieces that belong to it, like this, like an eye, or when you're doing letters, sometimes the middle of the A or something like that can be loose, so you need to remember to keep it. So again, just cutting it, moving the paper, not so much the scissors, and then you just make sure if it's angled and you're angling the scissors the other way, that you can get underneath. So you want to get underneath the black edge of the cut file rather than as much as possible. Not heaps, but a little bit helps, just so that it's not, the pattern paper is not showing on the outside of the cut file. That makes it look a bit more even and flush, like it is all just one piece. And you can see here, so cute. It's hard when you're making cut files to then embellish and add a photo sometimes. I find that I don't want to cover anything up. I just want to put him on and just look at the piece of the cut file, especially if it's something like this. Like, he's just too cute to want to really do too much. But I do end up adding my photo and title and lots of journaling and some embellishments, and it looks really nice. So you can see, it comes together quite quickly. I haven't sped it up too much, like a little bit, but just wanted to show you how it all comes together, because that one was quite easy, and not intimidating at all, in that kind of just took 2 pieces of paper. So there we go, and I'm going to decide what kind of pattern paper, or is it going to be the blank cardstock. So I cut down the backing strip because I'm sure that I'm going to use this paper, and my photo is going to sit there like that with the title. but I try and see if I want the dinosaur to hold the photo, because that would be fun. And then I see this paper. Sometimes pick the pattern paper is the hardest thing. So I just have a little play, and then I found I like this. But I'm like, no, it's too much, surely. No, I don't want to use it. No, I do want to use it. No, use that one. That way it's not clashing, and it's not too much all at once with two, like the geometric pattern of the dinosaur and then the pattern of the hearts in the background. But ultimately I tell myself to take a risk because I like the way it looks, and surely it's going to work. And I really do think it works in the end. But so stay along and hopefully you agree. So I'm going to have a play, and I've got my photo in the position I want it in up here, but I do just try to make sure that I'm not having any moments where it's in the wrong spot. So I try a few different spots, and I've pulled out the sticker sheet just to see if there's anything that is going to work for me before I start making sure that it's stuck and I commit to things. So I'm going to use some foam here. So this is just some fun foam from the, pretty much from children's section of the craft area in shops. And I'm just cutting little squares and rectangles so that I can back it on top of at the back of this cut file. That way it just lifts up the page, but it also gives that little shadow and lifts it off behind the background, but not too much that it doesn't become part of the background at the same time. It's not all one piece, but it's just nice to have that little pop of shadow. So just glued them all down, and then I've come back and now I'm going to glue them all to the heart background page. Just simple, easy peasy. And that way, once that's stuck down, you've got the main element part down, and you don't need to worry too much about much more. I'm going to add my title because I really like the way it's going to sit over here. Just making sure that all those little like the middle parts of the letters are out. Just using some thin scissors because do any of you know where my die pick is? Because I do not, and it's frustrating me a lot. Anyway, so my photo is going to sit like that, and I'm just going to pull out a bit of fun foam because because the cut file's up, I need to have the photo up a bit because it's going to, otherwise it'll just look funny in terms of the bottom right corner is up on the cut file. So that's going to, and then the bottom left is underneath his tail. So I'm going to pull out my ruler. First I thought this one, and then I thought I better get out my T-square ruler just because one, that's why I brought it, and two, it just means it's lined up a bit more. So I'm just going to add some really light lines with not too much space between them. Just going to write in small letters, and I'm going to add a fair bit of journaling up there. And then I also, as I'm journaling, need to do some down below the word moments, which looks really nice. So Power of Magic, we're back and all my journaling is done. And then I'm going to add the finishing touches to it. So a couple of word stickers here, and then I'm looking at my embellishments to see what else I could work with. And I really like this rainbow, but it's too big. It ain't going to work. Actually, those little rainbows that we had in one of the other kits, was it last month or the month before? They would have looked really nice. But I don't have any of them left because I killed that kit. So it wasn't last month because I didn't kill April's kit, unfortunately, not yet. Anyway, just ripping that tag because I thought it might be a nice little layering piece up there. And I've just used 3 of the different leaf like fronds out of the die cut pack, and I'm just going to add them up there as a nice little embellishment. I didn't want to add flowers because it's not what would match. Oh my gosh, the biggest yawn in the world. And we also got these little brad button thingies that I've pulled out of my stash to put in my texture items for the kit. So I'm going to add some of them, and then some of these foam gold hearts so that it matches the word moments. Tying in those elements. And I'm going to put some hearts down there. It's just so cute. I can't get over. Anita is just a cute cut file designer. looks so cute. I'm going to have to, I think I'm going to do another one with him and see what I can create. So I wondered if this word adventure, it actually looks really good here. But then I'm like, no, you're covering up too much of the dinosaur. I was going to say Jerry. Maybe his name's Jerry. I don't know why I would have. Oh my goodness, Lauren, the things you say when you're voiceovering. Seriously. Anyway, I'm going to glue these items down and commit to them. It's a little dollop of glue down the bottom of these leaf fronds just so that they tuck in under the photo, but they're sitting up and have some ability to move. So on in they go. That's cute. These leaves, the fronds and the colours and the different styles is just so nice. I really like that. So on with the buttons and the love hearts, just adding a little bit of glue to make sure that they're stuck properly. And then I wonder if I want one down there instead of over here. So, oh, apparently I do want him there because I've stuck him there. Sometimes this, and then this idea was a fail. So I've pulled out the gold Nouveau drops. It's actually like a dull gold. I think it's actually even called something like that. And I was going to add a border, doodly border with it, but it just wasn't the right gold because the gold of the words are too bright in the hearts. So I used my baby wipes and wipe it off, and instead use a black permanent marker just to add a single line border. And apparently had conniption, so I had to go over it. And when you have to go over a line, it is so much harder. That's when that's when I end up at least with a double doodly, messy border because I've missed it and it's just so hard to do. It's not impossible, but it's hard. And then I remembered that it would, I just wanted some more black, and I thought, a roller date stamp, roller phrase stamp would be lovely. So I've added these love heart ones and some ghost stamping. And then I'm going to add some words, and then I'm going to add some down the bottom. And it's just a lot of little fun. I'm just going to add something to the top and the bottom of the journaling and not distract your eye too much with something crazy and wild. So just having a look, just use the same roller stamp. It just had quite a few good phrases in that row of hearts. Was something fun. So might be something I might need to put a couple on my desk and use, because I only remembered it because I'd cleaned some of my room to fit in a new piece of furniture, and I was like, oh yes, I have 50 billion roller phrase stamps. Why aren't I using them? So I might have to get a little container and put a couple on my desk. See if that will help me to use them. Although I used it today. I went over and got them off my Kallax. So I'm just going to add some leaves here because it just was missing something in that little spot I felt. So I tried these ones and then had a look at some of the different leaves that I've got, and I change it up and make it suit the way I want it. And then once I've realised they're the ones I want, 1, 2, 3 again. So 3 is just a lovely colour in design. Not a colour. 3 is not a colour. Oh my goodness, Lauren. Anyway, so I'm just going to glue them down. Again, just adding a little bit of glue to the bottom so that they can, bounce up around the cut file and over and have some movement on the page rather than being flat. And adding a full leaf over here. So that's going to be the end of my page today. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, and hopefully I've been able to help you to get inspired and to, maybe even learn something. Who knows? But hopefully you've enjoyed the video today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.